Welcome to 2025. Maybe you're feeling a little anxious, a little excited about it being that obligatory time of year that you would be setting goals, but something may not feel just right. How often do you feel like you set really big goals? They're exciting only to realize that you are stuck and you feel overwhelmed trying to make them all happen, or maybe you've tried to do them all at once and you burned out before you could even see progress. Friend, I have been there too, and I used to think reaching a goal meant striving harder, faster, but life has a way of showing us otherwise. Today, we're going to explore a fresh approach on goal setting, one that fits real life, kicks the feeling of overwhelm in the booty, and helps you make meaningful progress with joy.
Welcome to There Will Be Joy. I'm your host, Lauren Alonso, and I am a wife and Southern mama of four and counting. I'm that crazy friend of yours who's always ready to dream big with you, cheer you on as you dance to the beat of your own drum, and help you find the silver lining in every situation. I'm here as your host to help inspire you to live with joy, equip you with every listen, and empower you in your journey. I believe that life is a series of stories worth telling. And in this podcast, I'm going to share my own stories, the stories of others, and practical tools to help you explore how to live with intention and purpose no matter what is thrown your way. My hope is that you smile a lot, cry a little, and laugh so hard that eventually you pee your pants. Not kidding, friend. You are welcome at our table, so pull up a seat.
Today, I'm giving you a peek inside the Joyful Life Insiders community that I have been creating for you guys, and we are going to be gearing up to using it all year long, starting now. In the last episode, I shared with you how I've been praying for this amazing online community for about 7 years now, and that it has been structured to help you grow amongst friends that have similar values and are there to encourage you every step of the journey. Our second pillar of the Joyful Life Insiders community is not just friendship, but growth. Not just growth for the sake of achieving, but intentional growth that leads to a more joyful and balanced life. Through tools like the Joyful Life Goal Planner, workshops, and exclusive support groups within the community, you're going to find friends. We are here to inspire you to take actionable steps toward becoming the person that God created you to be. Growth is a journey, and I'm excited to walk together. Before we dive into the 7 sustainable strategies for goal setting, let's establish a framework that will guide you through the process. If you have ever heard of the Wheel of Life, this is something that's a little newer to me. It is something that I have actually put into your Joyful Life Goal Planner. Now, because I know all of you are not insiders yet, I wanted to give you the option to download this on your own. So I've created this Wheel of Life, and it's going to come as a download when you join our free Patreon community, which is basically a place that I just drop a few resources every now and then. And it also has our devotional series, giving you a little taste of what you're going to find inside, but also has every episode of the podcast at one place without you having to open up social media or having to dig for it. It is the perfect place to find everything joy-filled that you need. Now, in this Wheel of Life, this is an activity that you do. You can color it. You can make it as fancy or as pretty as you want. I love to color code it because when I go to write my goals, I then carry out those goals in those same colors. There are 8 areas of focus. Are you ready? First one is going to be family. The second one, home. So what is the temperature of your home? What does it feel like? Not just your family, but the space that you've created for yourself that you spend the most time in. Number 3 is finances, because we have to go there. Number 4 is personal growth and faith. Number 5 is career and work life, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you work a 9 to 5. Then there's fun and hobbies, friendships, and health. Those are the 8 I want you to fill out and rank. You're going to have a visual of that, and you're going to be able to color in like 1 to 10. Where do you find yourself right now in this present season? And also, where do you want to be in the next season? Now, I love the Wheel of Life activity. It's going to be free, as I said, as a downloadable resource for you in the Joyful Life community found in the show notes. I encourage you to visualize and reflect on where you see yourself in each of these categories presently and then come back. So make 2 copies of this. Okay, so come back to it and say, this is where I want to be by this time next year. This exercise helps us identify the areas that need attention and priority as we focus on our goals ahead. But they have to be based on a vision for your life and values. And if they're not, it's just literally like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks to something, but you're not even sure what you're creating. All right. So if you've never written out a vision for your life, I want to encourage you to go back and dive into episodes 2 and 3 of this podcast, There Will Be Joy, and refresh your values for this season, whatever season you're walking into. It's essential to create goals that are based on a clear vision and set of values that you've already established that you can filter them through. This will give you a foundation that keeps your goals relevant to the life that you're aiming to create, a life that you love. When creating goals, it's essential to understand the difference between a dream and a goal. Have you guys ever heard of the difference between the two? Okay, we're going to imagine the dream is over here. If you're watching this, I'm using my hands as visual aids right now. We're going to imagine that the dream is over here. It's set to inspire us, give us more like a wish or a hope and a desire. But goals, on the other hand, give us an actual roadmap and steps to take to make the dream a reality. So they really work hand in hand, and you need both. And I consider a dream part of your vision. And your dreams, so your vision is like your big idea for your entire life. And then inside that vision, you have dreams that you want to see. You have maybe a bucket list of things that you want to do. Those are dreams, okay? They don't necessarily set themselves up and lay themselves out as goals. Goals, on the other hand, if you've ever used the SMART framework, that's the type of goal setting that I use in the Joyful Life Goal Planner, and I love it. It basically gives you a place to test your goal out. Like, is it really specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? Is it time bound? To say, I want to lose 50 pounds is not quite enough. If you want to lose 50 pounds, how are you going to do it? How much time are you going to have? Are you going to give yourself to reach that goal? And then what steps are you going to implement to make sure that you're achieving that regularly, but also balancing out so that you're not too strict? This framework is what makes goals actionable and attainable, and sometimes sustainable. But we're going to get to that in just a moment. If you've set goals before, it's quite possible that at this point, where you've written them all out, whether they are perfectly written or not, you might get overwhelmed. You might be ready to throw in the towel by February 1st. I know, because I've been there. I used to set goals this way too. I used to love writing out big, hairy, audacious goals. The bigger, the better. I measured my worth by the size of my goal. But when it came time to implement habits to support the direction of my goals, my motivation would fizzle. Or I'd become so invested on succeeding, I would burn out and miss the joy in the process. And that's why I wanted to share these strategies, or rather mindsets, with you that can really help you transform your goal setting process. Before we talk about these 7 goal strategies, though, I want to encourage you to choose a single focus goal. So after you've written all of your goals, I want you to find one that fits for this season. Don't worry, you will naturally begin to work towards the person you want to become in all areas as you focus on one single goal. Your eye is on the prize, as my granny says. But if you try to tackle multiple all at one time, you'll probably end up distracted like me, or you might be taking away all that you're going to accomplish with one and spreading out all of your effort amongst many and feel overwhelmed and burn out. Now let's chat about those 7 sustainable strategies for goal setting.
Hi friend, want a little more joy in your inbox? Join our email list for a warm welcome and a secret family recipe, the most delicious sugar cookies with icing, perfect for any occasion. On the Grits, Grace, and Granola blog, we inspire, equip, and empower you to live life joyful in every season. Plus, dive into our blog about motherhood insights, faith, home decor, tips, and more. Sign up today and make life a little sweeter together. This link is also in our show notes, so check it out.
Number 1, remove the fluff. We all love setting those really big, audacious goals that set the bar high, don't we? The measure of our worth or success should never focus on how big the goal is, but also the process. The result isn't it. It's who we become in the process. Let me be honest. I am all about SMART goals, as I mentioned before. But most times we're going to reach burnout before we ever see those lofty goals reached. Or we're going to reach a challenge in life that just life throws at us and we can't help it but get derailed. Instead, let's break down that big goal, removing all the fluff, into manageable steps, like mini goals. Now, Nehemiah in the Bible was methodical about his plans. Strategically, he planned and executed the entire rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls by dividing one huge, enormous task into smaller, manageable sections. By doing so, he not only accomplished his goal, but also inspired those around him to contribute to a shared vision. This is what I want you to think of as you're creating your goals, like whether it's in a work environment and you're trying to share a vision with your team or your children or at home in your family. A shared vision is something that is so much more achievable when you work on something together. Success isn't about the size of the goal, but about the process of achieving it. I am so excited to teach you exactly how to do this in an exclusive class in February, only inside the Joyful Life Insiders community. Join us as we uncover how to create the ultimate blueprint for creating sustainable goals that last and don't suck. I'm going to be teaching that in February. I am so stoked about this process, and I cannot wait to share it with you and how to create that goal. Now, number 2 is embrace the mess, not just the results. I want you to learn to celebrate progress over perfection. A great way to do this is by breaking your focus goal up, again, into manageable actions, yet reward yourself as you complete those actions. So these work hand in hand. For instance, I'm going to share a personal one with you. Last year when I started this podcast, I was like, I'm going to hit 100 episodes before I ever hit pause on the show. Even if I did one a week, that's only 52 in a year. Okay, so it's going to take me a really long time to create that sustainability and repetition, that rinse and repeat. And it's going to get probably a little flavorless for myself. I'm going to need a break at some point, right? But in case you don't know, I am expecting a baby any day now. My current season doesn't exactly support a 100 episode goal. Not right now. So instead of being discouraged, I'm not going to wait till I reach 100 episodes to celebrate. I have been pausing and actively rewarding myself along the way. So when I outline an episode, I celebrate, I get excited. When I record an episode, I get excited, I share about it. When I publish an episode, I get excited and I share about it again. And I could do even better at this. But I want you to learn to be your own biggest cheerleader. I even have a section set apart in the Joyful Life Insiders community that's for wins. And I want you to every single week come in and celebrate something that is going on that you are working towards in your goal. And it could be, I had a setback this week, but this is how I celebrated anyway. And I cannot wait to have those moments with you and celebrate with you and cheer you on. Even when it feels awkward, I want you to celebrate. Yesterday, I recorded this podcast. I just plugged and played, and I plugged the mic in. I didn't check the settings. It's so simple. Okay. There's like 3 knobs to turn. I didn't turn the echo down, and I didn't re-listen to it because I was in a rush. And so I didn't realize, but there was no way for me to cancel the echo. And it was awful. But I took a picture with this mic, little boomerang, on Instagram and celebrated the fact that I got a new microphone. And I am so excited about it. And while I am now having to re-record this episode, it's fun. Like, I'm not worried about it. I am celebrating. I am also celebrating my humanity because we all mess up. And I might not look as good as I did yesterday, but that's okay. When you celebrate your success, others will come alongside you too. Again, it feels awkward at first, but reward yourself along the way and make it fun. When I started this podcast, I also removed the very thing that was preventing me from achieving this goal. I stopped posting to social media. I deleted the apps entirely from my phone, and I focused all the time I had been spending scrolling and creating content that wasn't really going anywhere. I decided I'm going to record 4 episodes. I'm going to publish those 4 episodes, and then I'll return to social media. I rewarded myself by coming back and sharing the news of what I had been doing, and it was this big, beautiful, kept secret. And when I came back, people celebrated with me. That was so rewarding to me. Something like a delayed gratification. What can you do in order to celebrate you? Philippians 1:6 reminds us, he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. This verse encourages us to trust in God's work throughout the process, not just at the end, emphasizing that success isn't about hitting every milestone perfectly. For those recovering perfectionists, I know you, I see you because I am you. Trust me, it's about just showing up consistently, celebrating the little wins, and recognizing God's hand in our journey and even our humanity. So even though I didn't get this published this morning at 5 a.m. when I wanted to, it's going to be there and it's going to be great. And I am going to remind myself that I'm human and it's okay. And sometimes people are going to be like, oh, she's real. I think this girl might be onto something. Let me listen to her a little longer and we might just become friends. Find ways to celebrate your little wins and make them a big deal. Number 3 is focus on what you can control. Guys, this is so huge. Are you ready? Your success and results cannot be dependent on someone else. So if you're like, I will grow 100 followers this month, well, that's not really dependent on you. You might instead write, I'm going to create 100 pieces of content this month and then see where it lands. That is the difference in creating something that you are responsible for versus what someone else is responsible for. I'm going to dive in a little deeper to this, so bear with me as I nerd out a little bit. Make sure that when you set your frame for your goal and the results that you're seeking, be sure that you're creating actionable steps that you control in order to see progress and create results that are related to your activity, not human behavior. This happens all the time for me in the algorithm as a content creator. I cannot control the algorithm or how well a single post will perform. I used to get caught up in how many people would see it, like it, engage with it. No one commented on it. I cannot control the number. I cannot control the algorithm or human behavior. So what I can control, however, is the number of ways that I share about a topic, the ways that I share about it, where I share about it. So instead of posting one single post that I'm like, oh, everything hinges on this one thing, and then it flops and I feel like a failure because no one responded, I shift my focus to creating 10 separate pieces of content around this one topic that connect with different listeners across different platforms and even in different types, like a carousel or stories or a reel. It's going to land somehow, some way, and I am going to get feedback from it and learn from it. And that's what it's about. I shift my focus then from feeling like everything I do hinges on this one piece of content that must be perfect to keeping things creative and exciting and it also allows me to experiment with what works and what doesn't. Then I also don't get disappointed when the algorithm doesn't particularly favor one of my single posts, or I post at the wrong time of day, or I post on a holiday in which no one is paying any attention. I want to encourage you to eliminate the frustration of expectations and disappointment that are dependent on others, and instead focus your effort on your consistency and your individual progress and effort. Number 4 is establish life rhythms and habits. We have all heard of habit stacking by now. There is a book by James Clear. It's all about habits and habit stacking, and it's incredible. You should totally go read it. But I want you to be thinking about this. It should be a no-brainer. But I don't want you to hate goal setting. I don't want you to hate the habits that you're creating to achieve. The point isn't to add more things to your to-do list for you to check off or make you seem more busy on a calendar. We have enough responsibilities. Can I get an amen? And plus, I really want you to get excited and stay inspired and motivated to achieve your goals all the way to the end. Lord willing. Big and small. The reason we're creating goals to begin with is simply to create a life that we love. And the rhythms that we create in goal setting, in habits, they should make us want to jump out of bed. So when you're choosing something to focus on for the season, do not make yourself miserable. Choose something that inspires you and motivates you, friend. All right, number 5 is reframe your setbacks as breakthroughs. We all need to be reminded that growth and success are not linear. This is a standard business principle. Success is not linear. We hear it all the time. We don't only need to, however, anticipate setbacks. We need to know exactly how we will navigate them when we do. Whether we go to a party and we talk about what we're working on, something exciting, and someone says something that's negative or that we perceive as negative, it's going to happen at some point. It's not a matter of if it happens, it's a matter of when it happens. How are you going to handle that when someone rains on your parade? That is something you can control. You can't control what they say, but you can control how you react. You need to decide ahead of time if you're working on something that it does not matter what the outside world thinks or does. As you chase this goal, your eyes are set and your heart is set, and you are running after it with focus. Life is not always rainbows and butterflies, but neither is success. It's important to remember that we're human and that we can do hard things, and we could choose to get creative even when things don't go as planned. So maybe it's not someone verbalizing something or raining on your parade, but maybe life throws you a curveball and you have to figure out how to navigate and problem solve into something else. You can choose to either embrace a setback with joy or with dread. You can learn to grow or you can throw in the towel. We don't have a community of quitters here, though. We are built and wired for joy. So ebb and flow, my friend. There was an illustration that I want to share with you. And I love the illustration. It's like the good dog and the bad dog. And if you are watching with me on YouTube or Spotify or on the blog, you will see me visually putting up dog hands on top of my shoulders. I have a bad dog over here on my right and a good dog on my left. And whichever one I feed is the one that keeps coming back for more. So if I'm constantly feeding that negative energy and that negative thought process and dread, it's going to get louder. It's going to keep coming back for more. But if I choose to think positively and feed that vibe and that idea and that inspiration and motivation, I'm going to keep finding the positive, and that's the one that's going to be there day after day in consistency. All right. All right. Number 6 is start where you are with what you have. No one ever feels ready, friend. Acknowledge your feelings and take the first step you know to take, whatever that is. And remember that once you're in motion, you're probably going to stay in motion. Much like the old example of putting on your shoes makes you want to go to the gym. Even when you don't feel like working out, or making the bed makes you want to get your day started and make you run forward for the day, make you not crawl back into it and get cozy, right? Little steps like this help you take action and propel you forward. You will never, ever feel prepared enough, educated enough, qualified enough. Spoiler alert, no one starting anything ever does. Doesn't that feel good? Like, you're like, oh, well, this person is just so good at this. Well, I guarantee you, if you go back to the first time they did it, they were not that great. They were not a natural. It was not easy for them. They had to work at it for a long time, probably. So I want you to learn that if you stick with something and you learn and you're adaptable, those are the ones who persevere. The longer you wait to get started, the further you are from living a life that you love. Trust that God equips you as you move forward. In 2 Corinthians 9:8, God reminds us, He is able to bless you abundantly so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. This is our reminder that God provides the resources we need and the strength required to pursue the desires that He's placed in our heart according to His purpose. If it's His purpose, it's going to happen. All right, number 7 and the final one. Are you ready? Be flexible and surrender your plans. Be open to changing your mind. Now, I did an entire episode on this about permission to pivot, permission to change your mind. And it's all about being willing to change your mind about your goals and your life and your current season as life continues. We cannot always control the circumstances in our lives. And so it's important to remember that no matter what, we are able to change our minds about something. And we are humans. We're supposed to grow and adapt. It is not something that we're supposed to stay stagnant. We need a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. I don't mean give up on something as soon as it doesn't work or be flighty, throw in the towel. I mean, hold your plans loosely. All right. So you're excited about them. They're great. You have big, audacious plans, but you're also okay if it doesn't go that way. Don't be too rigid in your planning. One of the greatest favors you can ever do yourself in your life is give yourself permission to change your mind. When life changes, you're not fighting the wind that way. The most important thing you can do as a follower of Jesus is to surrender your plans to the Lord. Surrendering your goals to God allows Him to work through you in so many ways you may not have imagined. One of the biggest lessons that I have learned is that obedience is better than sacrifice. So if I lay my plans at the Lord's feet before He asks for them, it's a lot easier than coming to Him with a bunch of broken pieces and being like, how the world do I fix this mess? Because I have been trying to control this and I cannot figure out how or what to do. And now I feel so tied to this and you weren't in it. That is heartbreaking. I would rather surrender it to Him up front and be like, Lord, have your way. And that is revolutionizing the way that I set goals and make plans for my life. Now, if you want more goal setting help, I am here. Over the next 12 months together in the Joyful Life community, we are going to replace overwhelm with a sense of peace and purpose. We're going to build habits and life rhythms that feel freeing and not forced. You're going to love them. You're going to wake up every day inspired and motivated. You're going to cultivate friendships that inspire you and uplift you and encourage you, not put you down. Okay, you're going to be feeding the good dog. Feel confident in setting and achieving goals that actually align with your values for your life. You're going to live each day with clarity, joy, and resilience to keep going forward. If you're ready to stop doing life alone and start experiencing the power of connection through community, growth in your life through goal setting, and creating a life of joy, I want to invite you on the inside to the Joyful Life Insiders community. Inside, we're building meaningful friendships, intentionally growing what matters, and embracing joy every single day. You will be inspired, equipped, and empowered by joining this amazing supportive community, growing yourself, and creating a life with joy. Now we're just getting started, okay? So it's January and that's exciting and we're going to be goal setting, but we're really not going to start tackling these goals until the spring. A friend of mine just recently opened my eyes to something and I realized that other people also believe the same thing. I did a Facebook post this morning and I was like, agree or disagree? Should we be goal setting right now? Or like, is that something that we should wait on for the spring? Because spring, green means go. But right now, everything's dead outside. It's winter. It's cold. I just want to cozy up and like reflect and rest. And that's exactly what I need to be doing in postpartum. So while I am going to be with you in the Insiders community, I'm going to be going back and resting and reflecting on the episodes that I've already created. I'm not going to create anything new. And I'm really going to focus on building out devotionals and loving and serving you guys with the content that's already there because I think it's so rich and rewarding. In the meantime, I'm still going to be teaching a class once a month. And this month is going to be about Word of the Year. And then next month, as I said before, it is going to be about blueprinting our goals so that we know how to write them when it's time to write them. And then by the spring, you're going to know exactly how to implement your life rhythms and habits and really start working towards achieving them. And I think that we're going to get a lot further, a lot faster when we honor the season that we're in the season of winter, when we're resting and reflecting and figuring out what our vision is and figuring out what our values are for our life and what we want to base things on before we rush in and create vision boards and go headstrong because of a date on a calendar that says January 1st. So while I have equipped you with all of these incredible sustainable strategies to goal set, I really want you just to take them in right now. I don't want you to feel the need to have to go create 8 brand new goals. Feel free to get acquainted with the Joyful Life Goal Planner. It is at your disposal. I'm going to continue updating it, and I have so much more in store, and I cannot wait to be building life with you over these next 12 months. I am so grateful you are here. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast and just giving me your ear for a few minutes of your day. This has been the longest episode yet, but I think it's going to be so rewarding when you sit back and you create meaningful goals for your life. By the way, spoiler alert, my word of the year is meaningful. And I cannot wait to share more about it, but you will have to come to the Word of the Year class inside the Joyful Life community. I am going to be giving it for free this month as a little teaser, as a little welcome. And I am also extending my entry for the monthly membership just for the month of January. And who knows when this baby will be here. If I will be able to do it before or after, Lord only knows. But I am so excited about sharing that process with you of how to find your word of the year and make it meaningful and intentional. It's not just some random guess. All right. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I am so thankful you are here. I cannot wait to see you on the inside.
Friend, let's celebrate. You've just finished another episode of There Will Be Joy. So I challenge you, find a friend to share this episode with, give them a big hug for me, and remember, keep spreading joy. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform and join our free Patreon community. And as always, leave a review if you're finding value in these episodes because it means the world to me.